When family pressure prevents you from achieving your dreams, what will you do? This is how I overcame it. Watch the clip until the end. After dinner, I slipped back to my room and opened my desk. A pile of medical school brochures towered over my dusty old sketchbook. I picked up a brochure, skimming words about a stable future, but my eyes kept drifting to the sketchbook. When was the last time I drew? I couldn't even remember. I shut my bedroom door and sank to the floor. The hand-drawn posters I'd once taped to my walls were gone, stuffed in a closet corner. I'd hidden my dream of being an artist just to please my family. But in that sealed-off room, I felt like I was suffocating. When I was younger, I lived in a world of colors. I remember those afternoons in my tiny room, the faint smell of oil paint, sunlight streaming through the window onto my canvases. Back then, I didn't think about money or a stable future. All I knew was that when I held a brush, I was me. But everything changed as I grew up. One evening in the living room, my parents sat across from me, my mom's voice thick with worry. "Art won't support you. You need a real job." I tried to explain, pointing to my sketchbook filled with drawings I'd poured my soul into. But my dad just shook his head. "That's just a hobby, not a career." It felt like something precious was being ripped away. To make them happy, I started studying medicine. Long nights at my desk, under harsh fluorescent light, I flipped through anatomy books, trying to force myself to care. But every time I glanced at the ticking clock, my mind wandered to my paintbrush, to the paintings I hadn't created. My heart wasn't in it. Every night, I stood in front of the mirror, asking myself, what am I doing with my life? My old drawings, now torn or shoved into a corner, felt like proof of my failure. I started to believe my parents were right that my dreams were just a silly, unrealistic game. One rainy day, I escaped to our rooftop, clutching my old sketchbook. The rain fell, soaking the pages, blurring the drawings I'd once cherished. I sat there, drenched, feeling like I was dissolving too. I'd given up art, given up myself, just to please everyone else. Then one afternoon, I wandered into a small coffee shop, just to escape my stifling room. There, I met a woman, an artist. She sat at the table next to mine, flipping through an art magazine, her eyes sparkling as she talked about paintings. "Young lady," she said, looking right at me, "if you love something, chase it. Don't let anyone steal your fire." Her words were like a light in the dark. That night, I went home and dug under my bed for the old box holding my drawings. When I opened it, the smell of aged paper and oil paint hit me. I flipped through each painting, each brushstroke, and saw myself in them, the girl who dreamed, who lived for art. I sat there for hours, tears falling. But not from sadness. I was remembering who I was. I decided to paint again. Just a small piece, on the cramped corner of my desk. For the first time in so long, I picked up a brush, my hand trembling. Red, yellow, and blue blended on the canvas, as if they were telling my story. When the painting was done, simple as it was, I felt alive again. But I knew I couldn't keep hiding. One evening, I took a deep breath and brought my sketchbook to the living room. My parents were there, watching TV. I set the sketchbook on the table, my voice shaking. "I need to tell you something. I want to be an artist. This is me, what I love." My dad frowned. My mom stayed silent. I thought I'd failed. The next dinner was tenser than ever. My dad said, "You're dreaming too big." Art isn't stable, but my mom, for the first time, looked into my eyes and asked, "Are you sure this is what you want?" I nodded, my heart pounding. I've never been more sure. They didn't agree right away, but I saw something shift in their eyes. I started taking an art class at the community center. The first time I stepped in, I was overwhelmed. The easels, the smell of paint, the lively chatter of artists. I felt like I belonged. Every week, I learned to mix colors, to tell stories through brushstrokes, and the sense of freedom grew inside me. One day, my teacher suggested I bring a painting to a small exhibition. I hesitated, scared, but I chose one piece, bursting with color and emotion, and hung it on the gallery wall. When people stopped, pointed, and praised it, I felt my heart bloom. It wasn't always easy. Once, in class, a student critiqued my painting. It lacks depth. Those words stung, but I remembered the artist from the coffee shop. I listened, adjusted, and kept painting. Every brush stroke was a way of claiming myself. One evening, I invited my parents to see a painting I'd just finished. I set it up in the living room, under warm lamplight. My dad stared at it, silent for a long time. Then he said, "You paint beautifully." My mom smiled, touching my shoulder. For the first time, I felt they really saw me. A big opportunity came out of nowhere. A local gallery called, wanting to show my paintings in an official exhibition. I signed the contract, my hands shaking with excitement. On opening day, I stood among the crowd, watching my paintings glow under the lights, and knew I'd made it. On the exhibition's opening night, the room sparkled, filled with people and laughter. I walked past each painting, telling my story through colors. My parents came too. They stood there, quietly proud. I realized I hadn't just found my passion, I'd found a way for my family to understand me. Now, I still paint, but I make time for my family too. One afternoon in the park, we spread out a picnic blanket, laughed, and I brought my sketchbook to draw with them. I didn't have to choose between family and passion. I could have both, because I'd learned to live true to myself. I stood on the rooftop, looking down at the city glowing at sunset. The lit-up art studios shone like the fires of people who dared to dream. I once thought my family would define me, but I wrote my own story. If someone's holding you back, remember, your path is yours. Follow your heart. Be you. I still remember that dinner, the way the chandelier's light glinted off the untouched plates of food in our dining room. We all sat around the table, but no one said anything joyful. Only my dad's voice, low and firm, cut through. You need to be a doctor. It's the safe path. Me, with my messy black hair, wrinkled white dress shirt, and loose tie, just bowed my head, feeling like my heart was being crushed. And in my studio, under the lamplight, I pick up my brush and keep painting my dreams. No pressure can extinguish that fire. Follow your heart, no matter what.